What's up, guys? How's it going? It's always me, Francesco, and today we have our manager and agronomist Ilaria Anichini that of course is joining me for this video, and she will of course make an analysis about these two wine that we have over here. Of course, this time we are not going to taste a wine from Fattoria di Montemaggio, but instead of our wine we are going to compare two Gran Selezione, one from the Greve Chianti area, which is Le Masse, and the other one is Triacca, which is a winery that it's close by to the Greve, of course, but it is in the area of Strada in Chianti. In particular, I think the location is Chiocchio. So anyway, I'll leave the word to Ilaria Anichini.
Hi everyone, I'm Ilaria. I'm on holiday today because I'm drinking wine in this beautiful terrace. So we are having two wines which actually are from Greve, but two areas of Greve which are not far one to the other one, but they have a different geological area. So I would say the area of Le Masse Greve is a little bit higher, with a little bit much more rocky soil, limestone, while the other one, La Madonnina, is still in Greve Chianti, but closer to the area of Strada, which has much more clay. So in summary, what this make? More clay usually wines a little bit powerful. Let's see if we can see the same. It's quite clear what I said. So you can have clearly the idea that the Masse come from a little bit cooler region between the two. So the color is a little bit lighter, while the Gran Selezione La Madonnina, which is the warmer area with more clay, actually is a deeper color, is quite intense, don't you see?
Yeah, it's kind of more like concentrated color. It's a bit thicker.
Absolutely. The aromas, in both cases, they have fantastic fruits, red fruits, but spicy, little tannins, and yes, oaky notes, but not very predominant, not very aggressive, so quite balanced in the wine, I must say. In the mouth, they are both very nice. I would say that the wine from La Madonnina has a little bit more tannins. It's quite big. The wine from Le Masse, it's a little bit fresher. So maybe La Madonnina we can wait a little bit longer, but both are quite balanced. And in both cases, the wood is quite, how do you say, integrato. Inside
it's quite well balanced with the other component probably of the wine, so it's not that much predominant.
Exactly.
So it's not that overwhelming. So maybe of course yeah, of course maybe you can enjoy a little bit better what's the real like character of the wine, you know.
Here also in the wine of La Madonnina, and compared to Le Masse, I can perceive a little bit much more oaky notes, a little. So probably in both cases they use big barrel as far as I read, but maybe a little bit younger wood or a little bit smaller oak for the La Madonnina. Together with the soil, which is much more clay, the wine is more powerful. This is more vertical and fresh.
Yeah, if I can, of course, I would like also to say something that maybe it's just my perception, but you know, in general, when I taste Greve Chianti wine, in particular from the area which is close by to the town, something I really perceive is like probably close to the iris, like Giagiolo. This is something that it came to my mind quite often when I taste, of course, wine in Greve Chianti, and this is something, of course, I do not perceive that much in general. For example, in the wine from Chianti, or even in this one. Maybe it's just a trick of my mind, but still.
But for sure, it's much more floral and fruity. I perceive much more the violet note, like violetta, which is more on the fruity side. But I agree with you, iris could be something I perceive as well, but more fruity than the other one.
Probably.
So this is much more structured, tannins, and much more powerful, if you like.
Sure.
The other one is a little bit fresher, but both very nice.
Sure, but for example, in your opinion, if we want to match this kind of wines with some kind of food, what would you like to pair with?
Allora, for sure, which the wine of La Massa being fresher, it's much more versatile.
Sure.
The second, so nice meat, nice pasta, rich cheeses, but certainly La Madonnina having much more tannins, certainly something fatter. So
Sure.
it will balance the fat and the tannins together. It could be nicer, I think.
Yeah. It has also like nice finish, but probably the of course Le Masse, it's much more like fine. There's some other kind of finesse in the finish. That's my. That's
This
of course
is a little bit more, how do you
Meaty.
say? Meaty,
thick.
yes.
Meat is like a bit more thicker probably. So I
Say.
don't know.
In both cases, you can perceive the Sangiovese, so the iron, the earthy notes, and
The aromatic.
Aromatic.
You always say that. You know.
see.
The aromatic, like when you bite your lips and maybe you perceive a bit of blood in your mouth, and the aromatic characteristic when you have, of course, the Sangiovese, which is good quality. It's something like that can be predominant.
Absolutely. Sangiovese è sanguigno, we say. So, literally, it shows this side of iron, which you explained clearly.
I don't know. It's always as
Maybe
I always
somebody
say,
would say disgusting,
yeah,
but
in
it's
general-
not. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the idea. It's,
Yeah.
Iron is blood. The idea.
Blood. Yeah, that's the idea. And in general, yeah, of course, as you said, you perceive the Sangiovese, and that's of course the nice things about this wine. You know, Gran Selezione was created, of course, as far as we know, as far as I know, it was created, of course, to give them the chance to the producer to, of course, create something a bit more unique, a bit more, let's say, representative of the area.
The
that-
land, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of
So
the terroir.
of the terroir. So the terroir is speaking in a very precise way here. These two wines are giving to us, of course, a very good description of what the land, of course.
There is two sides
yeah.
of Greve.
Yeah.
So the warmer area, which is much more La Madonnina, Strada in Chianti, or anyway a little bit lower in altitude, and Le Masse, which I don't exactly know the altitude of it, but I think it's slightly higher.
I think if I'm correct, it's around 450 meters
Exactly.
above the level of the sea. So
And the soil is certainly very different. So it shows these two sides, a little bit warmer, a little bit hotter.
yeah.
Hmm?
So yeah.
Cooler.
Cooler, yeah, for sure, of course. And that's also the reason why we wanted to compare these two wines. You know, you can see even in a very tiny small area we can find, of course, very huge differences. And he always says that, of course, even in Radin Chianti we have so much diversity when we compare wine that maybe come from Montemaggio, when it come from another winery in Radda. You find so many different characteristics, and it's always like nice to compare. I would like also to ask you a couple of questions about 2016, because we didn't mention that, of course, we are tasting the 2016 wine. So I wanted to ask you, how was the vintage from your point of view, 2016?
Absolutely well balanced. So it was warm, but with the rain in the right moment. So it was one of the vintage that you say easy for
It
the
was
farm.
easy. Okay, cool.
Not too much, not as 15, but closer.
Closer.
So actually we had a fantastic result, and I would say that you can perceive the concentration with the fruitiness, which means that you made a ripe fruit in an easy way. Sangiovese has a late maturation time, so you know it's not always so easy to have this goal. And this is a kind of vintage that it was quite cool, easy. And now we are talking about Gran Selezione. The Consorzio Chianti Classico changed a little bit the rules of it just yesterday. So it passed a new rule that only indigenous grape Sangiovese, at least the 90% of it has to be done with Sangiovese, and the 10% can be done with the other grape variety, but only indigenous grapes.
Yeah, I think if you don't mind, maybe it's also cool to remind to the people that are watching us what it is the parameter of quality of Chianti Classico, because sometimes, you know, it can be a bit difficult to people to understand what's Gran Selezione, what's Riserva, what's the Chianti Classico standard or entry level, whatever you want to call it. So at the bottom of the pyramid of quality of Chianti Classico, of course, you got the Chianti Classico entry level. Then you got, of course, the Riserva and then the Gran Selezione. Chianti Classico entry level. You want to say a couple of words about the aging time and about
Usually
the
Chianti
rules?
Classico to age at least 18 months, but the characteristic of that wine is usually much more easy drinking, which doesn't mean lower quality, but easy drinking, so even more versatile. Then Riserva and Gran Selezione. Riserva has to age at least 24 months in the cellar, of which 3 in the bottle before being put on the market, released on the market. And so you would find a little bit more structure, wines to pair a little bit more complex food and dishes, and then Gran Selezione, which has to be only totally produced by the winery. So while Classico and Riserva, somebody can buy grapes and wine from other producer, Gran Selezione is integralmente prodotto. It means that you have to be a viticulturist. So you have to grow your own grapes and make your own wine. So it's a selection of the selection for a real producer of wine. And it has to age at least 30 months, of which 3 in the bottle. Bottle is very important for wine. So usually the good wines has to age at least some time in the bottle, and this is to say that those wines are able to age even longer, and so Riserva and Gran Selezione are wines to pair a little bit richer dishes.
Yeah, perfect. And you had the perfect explanation. Of course now of course you can enjoy a little bit better the product. You can have, of course, a much more structured knowledge about the product you're going to taste. And of course, it was very nice to make this discussion, of course, today with Ilaria.
Yes,
I had fun. I mean, we are drinking wine.
I usually don't drink wine
I mean,
at this time.
it's a pity because, of course, you're not able to see the beauty. I mean, where you had of Monte Maggio, but I mean, you can appreciate a little bit the view that we have here. And yeah, it's also a beautiful summer day, so there's nothing better than drinking wine. So thank you so much, Ilaria, and see you next time.